Welcome to the Value Driven Brand Podcast, where you'll learn insights on how to communicate with authenticity, deliver genuine value, and create a memorable experience across your entire customer journey, helping your business become the sought-after leader in your industry. I'm your host, Aileen. Now, on to the show. G'day everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Value Driven Brand Podcast. I am your host, Aileen. I am joined, now it's a little bit different. Normally I record during the day, but tonight it's an evening recording. So I brought wine and some of my great friends. I would love to welcome Martin and Nadine from Megathing. Welcome to the Value Driven Brand Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I know you guys have had an amazingly huge day, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your calm down, relaxing schedule to join me tonight.
You're most welcome. We're glad that we able to join you.
Oh, I'm so privileged to call these people my friends. Now, Martin and Nadine work and own a business called Megathing, and it is an office supplies, e-commerce office supplies business. And on top of Megathing, they also have the distribution rights here in Australia to two other brands called Dymo Online. And for all you label freaks out there, here's your peeps. And for all you creatives out there, Posca Art, pens and textures. And Nadine is fondly known as the Posca Lady, which she loves.
Posca Queen.
Posca Queen. We've upgraded from Posca Lady to Posca Queen. Now, just to give you guys a bit of a rundown, I'm going to get the wonderful duo that is Martin and Nadine to talk about their journey so far. But, so here's the thing, right? As you all know by now, I get my guests to fill out a guest profile before they come onto the show. Now, those in business would understand that that is to ensure that when they come on the show, we maximize the shit out of our time together and we make this run really smooth. But here's the issue. Nadine did it. Martin didn't. So let me tell you about all the amazing things Nadine's done. Shall we? Martin?
Shall.
We shall?
Yes.
Nadine has led an impressive career growing up in a hotelier's family led by her mum and dad in Rostock, Germany. Did I pronounce that right?
Absolutely.
Rostock. With an extensive background in hospitality industries, working in several of the most desired hotel groups, leading hotels of the world. That's right. We use the word desired because that's what we're all about. In the Marriott hotel chains, Nadine has worked in Germany, London, Bern, Sydney, and the Gold Coast. Good old GC represent. Not only to learn other languages, but also to gain on how to wow customers. And that's going to be a really important piece that we'll talk about a little bit further on in the show. And absolutely learn how to have an appreciation for other cultures. She's won industry awards, Employee of the Year awards, featured in several well-known industry publications, and you guys get the pleasure of having her now here in Australia. So, and I get the pleasure of working with her regularly and calling her my friend. Nadine migrated to Australia from Germany in 2002, and I am going to leave it there for a second because between Martin and Nadine, I'm going to get them to then tell us the rest of that story. So how did Megathing become Megathing? And how did Megathing, Martin and Nadine, become a thing?
I'll let you answer, Nadine.
You two are so cute. If you are listening to this episode, please go and hit up Aileen Day on YouTube and watch the video. They're so adorable. All right, answer the question. How did it come about?
So Mega Thing evolved really as a rebranding last year, as it didn't offer supplies in this industry. It's not really sexy or desired, or it doesn't have a attachment for a lot of, because it's more a consumable item. So what we, every time we got together in meetings and done our values as a business and trying to streamline our standards and our processes, we found ourselves when we're doing things, we would say, well, that's a mega thing. The way we do things, this is a mega thing. And we're starting to use this more and more out of jokes or out of conversation, and it became a rhythm. And we didn't like the previous name, just office supplies, mega office supplies, and it just didn't have a ring. So, and we found ourselves in a group of friends, and we had about 6 pages full of names of what we could call ourselves, and then it just came, why don't you just leave it? It's a mega thing. Like, you guys, everything you do, it's a mega thing. And we're going, yeah, it is. And we really love the idea because it represents of everything, the products we sell, because we're more of a brand ambassador for the products out there, and we choose them quite wisely and try to source products that are sourced within Australia or very well known within Australia that our consumers love and enjoy.
Yeah.
And we wanted to display that they are a mega thing. If you buy from us, it's a mega thing to know that you get good value brands to put products. So that's where that kind of evolved, and we felt that it's very on to be more, not your hard magazine or paper form of looking for a catalogue, that this name also would play quite well in the social channels. And we, people post and share now their purchases on different channels, and they would now use it as a tag. It's a mega thing. It's so it's plays out really well, and that was the kind of idea behind it, that people represent themselves with it.
Yeah. Can I just point something out though? I'm sure that you have been around the traps to know that a good business name doesn't necessarily mean that customers will advocate for you in the way that your customers do. Give us a little bit of insight into how, you just touched on it a little bit, but you just like flew over it. Give us some insight into how your customers actually advocate for some of your products and your brands. Like, it blows me when I work in customer loyalty and customer experience performance, the way your customers advocate for your brands blows my mind. Talk to me about what that looks like.
Thank you. It's I actually get chills on pretty much daily, just that interaction, because it is so hard. I find it so hard being an e-commerce business where is what we stand for, being fast and frictionless and easy transaction, to then have the opportunity to connect with our customers and build a long-term, not that short-term Tinder approach, long-term relationship.
You've heard about my dating life then?
Briefly.
Sorry.
but that opportunity to connect and it's displays in our parcel, and it's starting to get more and more traction on all the free stores, which is amazing. That we value the businesses and individual customers that purchase from us, but then where they get excited of receiving the parcel. And we got now, and I'll probably say it wrong as I usually do,
Gifts, yes. Yeah, gifts.
Where we created them for each store, but that we prompt you as such, the customers, for example, for Dymo online. We asked them, how do you Dymo? And we put a hashtag, and we're now receiving, and especially in this current period we're in, Aileen, I think it's so more important that we support the businesses among us, that in not just enjoying the product that is, well known, of good quality and endurance, that they then share their opening up and then show images on how they use that product, and then tag or email us, and we get to share and do a shout out for that business. This is how you can apply that product in your environment. It's not that perfect advertising image. It's not that, no shadow, no black or whatever.
Yeah.
Put in the image. It's the real live connection, and people just get so excited. It's like, for me, sometimes we get excited to speak to someone, famous, or, like yourself, and then you get to, to experience you being part of their journey, that customer experience, and it doesn't just go out, it comes back, and that's so valuable. And I just love seeing that reaction. And the wonderful thing is, it goes through the Posca store from a young kids student age, where they just get to experience, but they're really good at their social, and they share and tag, and you get to celebrate their growth through art, and it's just amazing.
I remember one of the very first videos that you sent me from one of your customers, and it was for Posca pens, and it was a young boy in London, I think, was it? Little English kid, and he was doing an unboxing YouTube video of his Posca art pens, and I was like, what is going on? I've seen kids unbox toys, but never have I seen kids get so excited about their Posca pens. And it just continued from there. You guys had an experience recently where there was a young girl and it was her birthday. I vaguely remember you saying.
Yeah, that was amazing. Her mum, purchased that, and we talked over the phone and about what pens to get her. And, we part of that interactions, because it was so important to her. We done like a photo of the parcel being packed for her, which I shared with her before it was sent, and she felt comfortable enough then to come back and say, oh, the parcel has arrived, and she enjoyed it. And it's just to make a difference in someone's life, and something that they like. I still remember my first ever oil colours receiving as from my parents. So I would love for many kids to experience the same, that feeling that takes you back years later.
And I just, again, from a feedback loop, you guys have absolutely nailed that full circle feedback loop and that full circle advocacy. I constantly now use your businesses as case studies for my own clients. And if you aren't on board, the innovations and the little ways that Martin and Nadine work with their team, their talent, to create a value-driven brand is just, some of it is so mind-blowingly simple that it hurts my heart that more businesses don't do it. But I mean, personally, I work with these guys, so I'm a little bit biased. I'm really glad that they do. But it is just amazing to see the difference that makes to the customer experience at the end of the day, that it is unparalleled. Now, obviously, there are differences in the way that you guys do business, and for as many differences, there are very many similarities in the model of business, but the way you go about creating value for your customers is unparalleled in my experience, which is far and wide. Now, speaking of value, we are the Value Driven Brand podcast, and what we want to know is, from the e-commerce office supply gurus that you are, the business leaders, the entrepreneurs, the innovators that you are, how can we teach people listening to create their own value-driven brand just like you have? What are some of the tactics that you have put in place that have helped you get where you are today? And as you will know, I ask this question long before everyone turns up to the meeting, but some of the things that you've told me, and I'd love to hear more about, is things like, the first one I want to talk about is, you guys said tracking the performance of marketing initiatives against targets and advising on tactical adjustments that may improve performance. What does that mean? What does that look like? If I'm driving in my car and I hear you say that, layman's that for me, croc brain me, what does that mean?
For us, I think it's a very strong indicator to know your customer or customer group and serve them or deliver something to them that's meaningful to them. At the time, if it's seasonal or if it is a health focus or a well-being focus. So there is a lot of products that are trend, but identifying if it is a long-term trend or just an add-on value. Mm-hmm. There might be just a seasonal product that, i.e. sunscreen, that be, in winter it wouldn't be as applicable. So there is no point. So choosing product that are of high quality, that are well known, so it's not the people don't trust in that product given, but also providing as much detail as possible on the product or website itself. And Martin spends hours until late at night in defining and making sure that each product has at least one image. We like to go free, a minimum of free product. Also has video and references and background of that company, where the product is made from, what is the company. So our suppliers, which we really value to have that relationship, that they represent the same values and quality we provide. If they don't do the same, then it's hard to pass that on. So Martin spent a great amount of time investing in that and providing those details such as the customer ask. And I would love to talk about that in the next point a bit more. But making those social advertising and then make the data to then what's the word I'm looking for? Drill it down.
Yeah.
Drilling it down and then seeing, you know, what is the area, where are they looking at when they get the video, where did they stop, where did they rewind. So these kind of data analytics help us. They just look at one product and stopped, or did they scroll all the way down? Did they look left or did they look right? What colors are within the EDMs or on the website, on the landing pages? Everyone has a different feel to it.
Yeah.
Myself using that product, so the imagery itself, it's not just displaying a product. I want to see the surrounding of that product. You know, it's like when you're buying a house, I suppose, that you want to see the furniture in it before you move in. So probably similar to that approach.
I'm curious, if we were to strip that back a little bit, Martin, how is it that you got to the point, and I'm sure practice plays a part in it, but what were some of the precursors that you were looking for when you go searching for the right product for, you know, the right customer at the right place, right time, all that stuff? What are some of the precursors you're looking for to go, you know what, that's the right product? What things kind of make you go, yep, that's ticking boxes for me?
Well, being the groups that we're in, we already built supplier families and they're brands that are well known, and the relationships have just been built over time, really. So we're pretty okay with what products we wanted to range, and we're at 31,000 now.
Wow,
and there's
that's
probably
really great.
30 vendors, but I mean, one vendor could take a big chunk of that, and they do. In terms of what Nadine was talking about, the basic criteria that I sort of put into when I started this thing was, do not give the customer a reason to ask a question. It should be there for them. So, and that's what we try to roll out with every. And probably the other thing I did was create that shopping experience virtually there. So there's just no requirement for another question. It should be fleshed out to the max. And you know, we don't have any forward-facing, face-to-face salespeople on the road, so there isn't that opportunity to exchange that type of relationship. So it is a virtual one, and this is why we're doing it, fleshing out our products with multiple camera photos. And do three-dimensional, but that's sort of getting a bit old now. Product, depending on a product page, it'll be just talking about the product and application. So it's more of a solution. This is where you'd use why this is good. And like Nadine says, we can analyse that and make decisions based on that information and our interpretation from there. But it really is. I am a keep it sort of as simple as person.
What? Sorry?
Keep it simple.
What? I'll keep it simple.
Person.
I think the sound cut out a little bit.
Just keep things as simple as possible. And I think this is where you'll see this conversation will be a lot more centric to what Nadine brings to the table. And then taking it back a step further, I think the reason that we're we're doing so well is that we stick to our own lanes. So I'm the nuts and bolts and the mechanical drive behind it. So I could be the V12 in a car, but the car is a Lamborghini. So, and this is what Nadine brings to the.
Oh, my heart.
Yeah. So she's the reason why there's so much love for the Mega Thing brand. I mean, I don't think customers realise when Nadine rings up at 7 p.m. at night on a Friday asking about a Posca colour that might be out of stock, they're actually speaking to the CEO of the company, and this is how much this person cares about their customers and what that brand represents. So, I mean, if you want to talk about e-commerce and how things actually work, well, this is a totally different show for the driven psyche. But this is why I'm sort of just sitting in the background, a bit listening. And
I think between the two of you, you are a formidable duo, and it most certainly is. It's a lovely combination to see, because you do incidentally complement each other so well, and clearly, if you didn't, you wouldn't be having the massive successes that you are at the moment. And I know COVID, you guys would be, and we'll come back to the tactics in a second, but you guys would be one of the very few businesses in Australia, or even in the country, in the globe, who have come through this whole pandemic situation on top. And it's no surprise, clearly the products that you sell are essential service products, but I love that despite everything, the tenacity that the two of you have shown. You know, Martin was having stand-up arguments with suppliers about trying to supply lesser grade quality hand sanitizer. And in light of that, Nadine was out on the front line with the customers explaining the importance of supporting our local brands, and just the different combinations of 1-2 sucker punches that you guys have had to experience in the last 6 months. And yet you keep, getting back up and fighting hard, and still not even just fighting, like just every day producing that wow factor. It just blows my mind. Like, seriously, if anyone needs a holiday after this, it's got to be you guys and your team. It is phenomenal to watch from, unfortunately I'm over here in Melbourne, and I wish I could. There's been times where I was about to get on a plane and come and pick and pack for you, just to help you get through those orders or answer emails, just to help, with that flow of customer experience. But you guys have managed, and your team and your talent have managed to get through all of it. And it is an absolute hats off to all of you, but most certainly to the both of you for everything that you've achieved. It is phenomenal.
Thank you.
And I say that from my heartest of hearts.
I don't think we could have done it with your support and your
I didn't even pay them to say that.
But just being able to share and just to rebalance and regroup ourselves in those challenging, and it's a different type of challenge, and we are so thankful that we've gone through this, but without really good friendship behind it, like yourself, I don't, and we mean that from our heart, that we are so thankful for you. We really are.
No, this is not why we did this podcast, by the way, for everyone listening going, God, are you done? No, we're not. Sit back down. All right, now, enough of the lovey-dovey stuff. Let's get back to business. So the second thing that you talked to me about when it comes to identifying how to deliver their own value-driven brand was one that is really, really close to my heart as well. is identifying inquiries or issues that have been experienced through social media and CRM platforms and turning them into a better customer experience. So I know how you've done that. Talk to me and talk to the people listening on about how they can tactically do that, how they can low barrier entry, get in and start changing that customer experience based on their feedback and inquiries that come through.
Absolutely. A lot of people get quite scared and heartened, and it is really confronting to have to deal with it. But the main thing is that customer could have decided not to tell you. Yes, they're ranting on, and some of them are behind the keyboard, and as we call them sometimes, keyboard warriors, and shout out loud, and it goes, oh, colourful language at times. But at some point, when you take that away and look at what the issue is or what the problem could be, that in itself then provides an opportunity. At times they just wanted to be heard and listen, acknowledged, and then to be able to go and say, oh wow, that hurts. But to then go, he actually told me. So if he experienced that, how many others may feel the same way? So to then turn that as an opportunity, and then I've really thanked them for it and make the phone call most of the time myself and let them know, I have read it. We're really sorry that we have let you down, but it really appreciate on how we can do it better. While it may not help you now, and you may not want to deal with us in the future, perhaps, but to 90%, these customers are going, oh wow, you actually listened, you actually identified that this could make the experience better. And there was a customer on our demo online, and it was a checkout experience, and with the product, and I said, why isn't that done? And it just seems like, for me, and just going, what is that customer talking about? And then when you go through sometimes, because you update your websites and you update images, and sometimes certain links get broken, that process. And when you don't, that's another very tactical quality assurance.
Check your backlinks.
Yes, and go through everything. So that's one of our mega thing way we do now. Every time we do something or install something new, we make sure how's the customer experience. So we pretend, or we invite friends to do certain processes and be like the user tester for us and say, how does it feel? Does it do what it's meant to do? So for this customer, it was such a value added to us, because a lot of us other customer would have experienced the same way. And so we were able to turn it around, and I think he appreciated that.
And how amazing that a customer who took the time to tell you what they thought, which they didn't have to do. They could have gone to another supplier, of which there are enough. I wouldn't say plenty, but there are enough. And you would never have known. It would have happened to another customer. They would have left, and then another customer, and they would have left. But ultimately, this guy went, you know what, actually that, I'm going to let someone know. And you've got the choice as a business owner and a leader in business to decide how you're going to have an attitude towards that. And as far as I'm concerned, and thankfully you guys agree, this stuff is a gift. It's a goddamn gift. No matter how raging they are, no matter how pissed off they are or furious, or how petty you might think they are, they didn't have to say a word. And as Nadine's just explained, it actually, even though it did initially sound a little bit petty, when you look into it, you realize, hang on a minute, this is actually a real gap in our experience. And now you have the opportunity to say to your web team, okay, hang on a minute, we're going to add another part to this checklist. Whenever a change happens, here's another part of the process that needs to be completed to make sure that customer experience stays wow. And wow for the right reasons, not mother trucking wow, what the hell did that just do? Like mother trucking wow, what else can I buy? Right? So I love that. And I think that as a customer, one thing that I always say to you guys and any of my other clients is, you know, at the end of the day, they are just human. They're just human. They have shit days. They have great days. Sometimes they take them out on you.
A great opportunity in that, Aileen, as well, where, you know, through social, where they are the keyboard warriors. But when you take that time and to call them and say, hey, we're here, we've seen it, we are so they're very taken back, because I don't think this is very common. And I think we feel as business owners, we get beaten and, you know, discouraged, where we should say, oh no, let's need it to the head. Do we have an answer? Do we have a solution of how we're moving forward, that this doesn't happen again? Because in real, we do want that mistakes happen, because they provide opportunities for us to make it better and to provide a standard and not leave any loopholes for things to occur in the process. So, and some really clever person once told us, we're not just doing it for that one person, we do it for everyone else who may read it. So,
what was that? She sounds so wise.
Miss Aileen.
Just saying, if you need help understanding how to manage your customer feedback and how to make sure that they say nice things about you in the future, feel free to hit me up. I've got some experience. I love that. And I think you both do such a fantastic job, because so much of what you do already comes from your heart. You're already genuine about caring about the outcome, and not just the outcome for your business, but the outcome for that customer as well is so important to the both of you, that it, you know, I love when you guys send me your pre-responses and I'm like, huh, what am I doing with this? You don't need me. You got this. So, you know, which just goes to show you're on the same page as far as, you know, how to create that value for that customer going forward. And I think that is just an amazing skill that so many businesses can learn with practice. And if we are willing to get rid of our ego, because our ego gets in the way a lot in these situations, we get deflective and we blame other people and we go into, you know, fuck you mode. And that is not how any of this is going to help your business create a value-driven brand. So get ready to have some hard conversations. Get ready to face up to people who might sound scary, but do it with the heart and the genuineness that these guys do. And it turns around very quickly because people see that. And that's what they're looking for. As Nadine said, there are not many businesses doing it. So you're actually about to create your own wow as well. Fantastic advice. Now, the last thing that you've talked to us about is building long-term relationships with customers and your suppliers and your internal team. What does that, like, you know, we can say, oh yeah, I've got a great relationship with my suppliers, but Martin, you touched on it before, you know, how does that relationship, I understand how relationships generally start in business, but how do you maintain them? How do you build them so that they are continuing to be successful for as long as you've now been in this business?
I think it's, I mean, I built the rapport with our suppliers as my parents were in the industry prior to that. So they've seen me grow up through the industry. And I mean, that's helped a lot. But in terms of, I've run this, this show for in total entirety is 10 years. Megathing's been in operation, the transition in the last sort of 2 years. But what was I going to say?
You know I'm not editing this, by the way.
No, that's fine. So build the, I think with you treat your suppliers like we're talking now, we're building that relationship. And once again, like Nadine said earlier, we're not here for the Tinder approach. We are here to build that long-term relationship. I mean, when I would not say that we're needy at all on our suppliers. We are very self-sufficient. I mean, you try and ask your supplier family for images of every angle of their product. It's not there. So that's why Mega did their own videography and images and built their own, we call it fleshing of products, but enrichment of the product. So you can ask, but all I really ask for now from suppliers is a price list and what we buy it for, and then I take care of the rest of my team that handles all the fleshing. But when we don't really have meetings. When we do have meetings prior to COVID, it was more just the figures are great. You're up. How's the kids? Or how's family life? Or how's your latest hobby or whatever? Yeah, it's more of a friendship, and the commercial thing exists, and that does remain professional and business. Mm-hmm. But it's just the forged relationships. What's going to be interesting is the industry is relatively mature in terms of dealer owners and external sales rep within these vendor or the supplier family. Mm-hmm. So it's going to, with this digitization of the way it's going, it's just going to be it's obviously going to be different moving forward. But we are I guess I'm probably, well, I'm younger than you just slightly, but it's we're probably the youngest dealers.
This is where the wisdom comes in, Aileen.
But we are probably one of the youngest operators in this industry. So it's just going to, but in 20 years' time we're going to be the older ones. But anyway, I'm just saying, just the transition.
So how does that, okay, so that's your supplier relationships. How do you guys go about maintaining and fostering relationships with like your internal customer, being your team, your talent, and there as well your external customer? We kind of talked about your external customer a little bit before, because you guys have such an amazing relationship with your external customer that they go out of their way to unbox their products and tag you guys on social media and use your custom made gifts on Instagram and TikTok. The Megathing team love TikTok, so make sure you follow them. And but so how does that look like? How does fostering relationships look like then from an internal customer point of view?
It's probably hard to ascertain what that looks like because we live it day to day. I mean, I think the biggest shit we're doing it right is we've got a review saying, gee, I wish I worked there. Now, for someone to say our business, I thought that's just like the Pier Street Markets in Seattle. You know that?
Oh, yeah,
place?
The fish.
Fish throw the fish, yeah. That's they said there in a chapter, our people that work for us don't even want to get paid. They want to be here for the experience, they'll work for nothing or whatever it may be. But that was a bit of a wow, we're doing the right thing. And you don't actually look back and go, oh, we're doing it, because you've got nothing to compare it to. You know, this is right. But yeah, I thought that's not that we're going to stop and say, oh, well, we've done it, we can move on. But it's a good little milestone to say, you know, if people think us a desirable place to work,
Yeah.
well, we must be right internally.
What is it, do you think, about that work culture that makes outsiders go, you know what, I want to be a part of that team? What is it that you guys are tactically doing that the team are sticking around to get more of?
I think that adds really value, or is one of the most vocal pointers there, that the team is part of the process. So everything we do, they have the opportunity to be involved in that decision making. So, you know, we need to communicate an email, and we want to standardize it. What is it, the pointers that need to be included, and then we make it, you know, I'll call it the warm and fuzzy, so that it is like a real communication without being too, that it sounds like a, you know,
Human
just
connection.
Human connection. If it is from the packaging, and I said, you know, you need to look at the order you have in front of you, that is an opportunity for you to connect with that customer. So looking at the location from where they ordered. So a lot of Victorians at the moment order, so we know in what situation they are in, and being in the lockdown, that you know, the team has the opportunity to write on the card, thinking of you, stay safe, you know, those kind of it might be just something small, but they see that as a chance for them to be part and to connect with that customer. And it's very clear to us, without them we couldn't do it. Like, we need their help in order to bring our vision alive, or our that it becomes alive. So they're very a crucial part of this daily operation. And we do, while it is restricted at the moment, doing our huddles daily, we discuss the Trustpilot feedbacks we've received from each channel, and we share them, and as well as any you know, negative pointers, we share them, and we say, this is where I think we went wrong, and this is where I think we can improve to not let it happen. What are our processes we are currently doing, and why did it happen? How, you know, were we rushed, or were we, whatever it might be, that we use this and use them to be part of that innovation, of that problem solving, and create that ownership.
I am such a fan of that, because, you know, exactly what you just said. If they are a part of that journey, the ownership and the engagement is expected to be so much higher than, you know, if you're in a situation where, you know, down the line this decision came trickling and saying, you will do this. Well, I don't want to do that. Explain to me why I should do that. But this team, they're the ones who are like, hey, we should do this, which makes so much difference when it comes to leadership and fulfilling that vision and purpose in your business. I promise you. So get the team on board is basically what Martin and Nadine are saying. And you
also,
too.
Yeah, and I think as well, we celebrate when mistakes are happen and someone else picks it up. So they would go, oh, you know, there's only 5 folders, but there should be 5 boxes of 10. So we go and we do the shout out great pickup from Geordie, and then we all clap. And we make it a celebration so that no one feels frightened of making a mistake, but more like, oh, someone there is taking the checks, or yeah, it works really well, and I'm so proud of that. They're not they love sharing, and they are so supportive of each other, and encouraging that positive engagement with making mistakes and picking things up, but it's them. It's not us, it's them. But I celebrate.
And that's such an amazing culture to have as well, where you can, have them feel like that autonomy is, and Martin and I have talked about, autonomy in the team a lot, but that autonomy is clearly something that they feel that they don't have to run to the boss all the time, that they've got this, and they trust each other to have each other's back as well. And that is definitely, if you've got people knocking on the door going, I wish I worked here, that's obviously something that is now being seen outside of that workplace culture as well. Now, Martin and Nadine, before I let you guys go, firstly, I want to say they are some amazing insights to business, to how you guys have scaled, the growth, the wow, the way that your customers advocate for your brands is just phenomenal. If you are, after you've listened to this podcast, I implore you to get on Instagram and or Facebook, probably more Instagram at the moment, and check out Megathing or Postcart or Dymo online, and just look at how the customers blow up when they get products delivered from these businesses. It is the most heartwarming thing. I love it so much. But before I let you go, now everyone will know by now that I ask all of my guests to give me one song that gets them pumped up for anything when they need it. And Nadine gave me a great song. Do you remember what that song was, Nadine?
A Pocket Full of Sunshine by Natasha
Bedingfield. Absolutely. Now, because Martin didn't do his bio, Martin also didn't give me a song. So before we started this interview, I made Martin give me a song. What was that song, Martin?
That was Barry White, and I Can't Get Enough of You, baby.
Now, I think Martin didn't quite understand what I meant when I said gets you pumped for anything. I didn't mean that. But nonetheless, that is the song. Those are the songs that are now being officially put onto the Aileen Day official playlist for all of our listeners for the Value Driven Brand podcast to get their hands on. And whenever they need to get pumped up for anything, thanks, Martin, you now have a eclectic selection to choose from. So with that, I want to thank my amazing guests again, my friends, my colleagues, my clients. You are absolute business heroes to me, and it is my privilege to have the opportunity to talk to you about how you do business and how you deliver a value-driven brand. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Nadine, for joining me tonight.
Really?
Thank you.
And on behalf of Team Megathing, by the way, say hi to the team for me. Tell them my hat goes off to them. The work they've done over this COVID period is phenomenal, and they all deserve a pat on the back. But for everyone listening on, if you would like to get more information about Martin and Nadine's businesses, Megathing, Postcard, or Dymo Online, you can either follow them on their socials, or you can go to valuedrivenbrand.com, and they will be there on the page, as well as all of their socials and this recording and the video as well. So from me to you, to you, to you, to you, And to all of you out there, till next time, make sure you're going out and creating value for someone, and have a great day. Thanks for listening to the Value Driven Brand Podcast with your host, Aileen Day. Is your business struggling to become known as the sought-after leader in your industry? Access our Value Driven Brand Quiz and special 3-part podcast series to identify the gaps and what you need to focus on first. Go to www.valuedrivenbrand.com/podcast series. That's valuedrivenbrand.com/podcast series. Tune in next time where we discuss more ideas on how you can deliver your own value-driven brand.